Richard Foster had a brilliant concept for a house where you can change the view from any room whenever you want. This circular house rotates around a central base, boasting panoramic windows in every room. It can spin a complete 360 degrees, allowing you to enjoy different landscapes from every corner of the house. What's even more amazing is that this house wasn't designed 10 or 20 years ago, but back in 1968. Actually, the house spins gently, so you hardly notice it moving, making it a good fit for folks with a shaky sense of balance. How can you get access to an underground garage without disrupting the landscape of the front yard? It's simple. Just install a lift. By the way, the platform is quite reliable. They really thought of everything when they designed it. It can handle a ton of weight, goes up smoothly, and when it's moving, little edges pop up around it to prevent the car from rolling off. It's no wonder they're so careful. Just check out the owner's awesome car. This room is a gamer's dream, especially for those who care about aesthetics. Apart from awesome tech, a nice interior really sets the mood. Have you noticed those clouds on the ceiling? They come to life with the lighting. The whole room is like a picture-perfect example of a cozy atmosphere. You could hang out here for days. It can't get any more secretive than this. Each day, people pass by this wall without knowing there's a secret door hiding not just a small room, but a whole gym behind it. Surely, for every newcomer, finding the entrance on their first visit takes quite some time. They arrive at the location to find the door, which is nearly impossible to see. The creators of these homes really knew what they were doing by blending nature and comfort so seamlessly. Floating houses can be set up on water pretty much anywhere. Unlike boats, they look just like regular homes in the countryside. They even have a deck. Imagine the atmosphere. Tenants enjoying the calming sounds of water, breathing in the fresh air, and not a worry in sight about the neighbor's dog wandering into the yard. It's pure zen. A lot of people really hate the sight of plain old garage doors, so they come up with different ways to hide the mechanism. I bet people driving by actually stop to watch the door open, surprised by the fact that there's more to this facade than meets the eye. The homeowner was like, "Man, it'd be awesome to have a pool in this chill-out zone." And the builders took it as a challenge. They managed to fit a pool here using a special mechanism that lowers part of the floor and fills the space with water. In a matter of minutes, you've got yourself a pool. Who could say no to that? In the UK, there's a hotel with rooms built inside a cave. That's right, these rooms are nestled within the rock formations. Despite the rustic exterior, inside you'll find all the amenities you need for a comfortable stay. It's the ultimate way to immerse yourself in nature with a touch of luxury. Imagine this scenario. Your friend invites you to a fancy place and takes you to a public restroom. Crazy, right? Only until this happens. Now Now that's what I call a real speakeasy bar. Any introvert's eyes light up at the sight of this house. It's nestled on a small cliff right in the middle of a river in Serbia. It was built way back in 1968, and it's hard to believe how people pulled it off. Now it's an ideal retreat spot, though it's wise to avoid it during floods. If you're thinking of setting up an elevator in your house, it has to be this one. It looks just like some futuristic capsule, and thanks to the material, you can still see what's happening in the room as it goes up and down. Some people didn't want the elevator to be too obvious in their interior design, so they came up with a clever solution: a secret compartment. In this house, the elevator is for residents only, as outsiders would never figure out its location. But hey, walking the stairs is a good exercise. Just another floating house, you might think, but you'd be mistaken. The lower part of this villa is submerged underwater, giving you the chance to explore the sea depths and its creatures right from the comfort of your bed, thanks to panoramic windows with underwater lighting. It's way cooler than just having an aquarium in your living room. Nestled in the Indian Ocean, this villa is only 250 meters away from the beach. Basically, you can start your diving adventure by stepping out into the water from the spacious terrace. It's not just a house, but a true haven for water fun and swimming. It's almost a cliche at this point. A secret room hidden behind a wardrobe in the office of a seemingly respectable guy. But the stuff in there isn't exactly what you'd expect. Makes you wonder why he's got such an arsenal, right? Here's an idea if you're into shooting but don't have time to go to shooting ranges and clubs. Ever wonder what the folks next door are thinking? It's impossible to sneak into this house unnoticed, all because of the massive door. It's several meters tall, so you can't just kick it open. But there's an obvious upside. When it's time to move out, residents can easily carry all their furniture through the doorframe. If something bad happens, this homeowner won't have to scramble for shelter because he lives in a real fortress. Although it looks like a regular modern house, with a couple of button presses it transforms into a massive block enclosed by 45-centimeter thick walls on all sides. By the way, the owner has programmed it to automatically seal shut every night, just like a flower does. Quite an unusual concept and absolutely brilliant execution. Can you imagine someone living in this tiny cabin for years?
So this is a patchy, cheap cabin in the middle of nowhere. It's an old mining cabin, I guess.
Well, believe it or not, this modest little house in a small town in Arizona was once someone's home sweet home, specifically the local mine chiefs. Nowadays, of course, you won't find anything in it but junk. But take a moment to appreciate the one-of-a-kind atmosphere.
Vandalism, but now it seems to be a culture of norm.
You've definitely heard about Transformer cars, right? Well, how about Transformer houses? Check this out. In just a couple of minutes, a regular chill-out zone can magically turn into a cozy home theater. And it's not just about a fancy screen that pops out. We're talking about comfy leather seats, too. Just think how awesome it would be to get into the cinema without even stepping out of the room. The owner of this house always has a trick up his sleeve, or rather under the floorboards. When he wants to impress guests or simply play a game of pool, he just presses a couple of buttons and then watches as everyone's jaws drop. It's a pretty unique way to save space, and a really impressive one. I bet you wouldn't even notice that old unassuming rail car, but you'd be missing out. While most people just walk by things like that, others roll up their sleeves and start restoring and renovating. Check out what the owner has transformed this rusty old hunk of metal into. Of course, she had to clear out everything inside, but after the renovations, the place got decked out with modern furniture, making it look like a fresh apartment. The owner chose to keep the exterior as it was to avoid drawing attention to her place. Smart move. You won't find a better space for parties and games. Every wall, floor, and ceiling is covered in big screens. You can play anything from relaxing nature videos to your favorite movies, or get lost in video games with friends. What would you play here first? Share in the comments. Here's a tricky one. How many stairs do you see? The right answer is 2. The second one is just hidden beneath the first. That's how the owners managed to save space and have access to the basement from the street. By the way, the staircase isn't heavy at all. Even a child can lift it. I'm sure everyone secretly dreams of having a hidden spot in their house, a place to escape to or hang out with friends. This guy's got just that. Behind a shelf that doubles as a door, there's a room with comfy chairs and a huge screen covering the whole wall. This house is pretty cute, isn't it? And it looks cozy. But did you notice that the walls don't have any corners? It's all because the house is inside an old grain silo. Once, instead of furniture, there were tons of grain here, and when the silos became obsolete and unused, a local resident repurposed them. Even though some say the building resembles a large tin can, in terms of comfort and reliability, the house rivals any other home. What else can you do with a bus besides giving people rides or throwing parties in it? Well, how about turning it into the base for a cute little getaway cabin? You might think owners got tired of regular architecture and built this unusual house on their property. But it's actually a steampunk-style museum. Nobody lives there, but they do offer tours. There are so many fascinating details on both the exterior and interior that you could easily lose track of time exploring them. Apart from the house itself, there's a real airplane on the property, though it's just for show. But nearby, there's another quirky building with a flight simulator inside. The museum creator really thought of everything. Hardly anyone would be surprised by a pop-up TV nowadays. But if it emerges from the floor rather than a cabinet, it'll be nearly impossible to hide the excitement. I bet the owner just loves seeing people's reactions when they see it for the first time. What's the coolest thing you can set up at home? The people who own this place think it's an ultra-realistic airplane simulator. Hit the like button if you agree. Check this out. With just one move, she opened the way to a secret lounge with her own personal bar. Let's be real, you'd love to have a hideout like that too. It's the perfect spot for drumming. Even if the neighbors make a noise complaint, they won't be able to prove there's actually a musical instrument in this apartment.